Hi everyone! I'm posting this video to make a really huge announcement about myself and the direction my life is going in. It's really overdue, and to be honest, at this point, most people already know, and I think the people who don't officially know probably already suspect as much. So, I might as well cut to the chase and make it official. I'm transgender. I'm a trans girl, and I'm currently in the process of transitioning from male to female. If my cosplays from the past year or so are any indication, then, like I said, this probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. As someone put it recently, all I've got left in the closet at this point is a single pinky toe. But might as well make it official and let that last toe come out. Also, this is a good opportunity for me to clarify things, since people might have some lingering questions or misconceptions. Oh, also a disclaimer. I'm posting this video to YouTube so that I can subsequently post it onto Facebook and Tumblr to share it with friends and family. As such, it's really meant to be a video for people who already know me. If you stumbled upon this video randomly and have no idea who I am, but are intrigued nonetheless, you should check out another video I'm going to be posting to this YouTube account that serves as more of a general introduction for people who don't already know me. Alright, so let's get to some explaining. These days it seems like pretty much everybody knows what it means when someone is transgender, but there are still some misconceptions out there, and for all I know, there might be some of you on my friends list who don't even really know what being trans means. There are plenty of articles and resources out there to explain it, so I'll be brief. Basically, the gender that I feel is most congruent with my personality, with my being as a whole, is female. However, I was born with certain biology that typically denotes one as being male. So that was the gender I was assigned at birth. However, as I've lived my life, it is not a gender I've really felt any connection to. Not only that, but I suffer from bodily dysphoria, a condition that causes me to feel an extreme and sometimes debilitating anxiety regarding my physical appearance because it is largely incongruent with my mental image of myself. I've always felt awkward attempting to socialize with people who assume me to be male, which in the past has made me very reclusive. Socializing as female has brought me out of my shell immensely, has improved my self-esteem and self-image issues, and generally made my life better as a whole. In the past, I bottled these anxieties up and did my best not to burden others with them, so if any of this comes as a surprise, I guess that means I was pretty good at hiding it. But this whole process has really allowed me to open up and become the person I truly am. So how long has this been going on? Well, to be fair, I think the story of my gender identity is probably a little different from what is typically seen as the common trans narrative. A lot of trans people know from a very young age that something is not right with the gender they were assigned at birth, and start transitioning as soon as they can. As for me, it wasn't always that clear. I knew I felt different from how the boys around me seemed to be, but I could never really figure out why. Once I got older, like in high school and college, after trying and failing to force myself into masculinity, I started to embrace a more androgynous identity. I was content with that for a while, but eventually I also began subtly exploring a female identity, primarily online at first. From there, I slowly began to explore making my appearance more feminine and coloring my personality with more feminine qualities. For the first time in my life, things were clicking into place surprisingly well. I soon got to a point in my life where I was able to explore the concept of my own gender a bit more freely, so I began bringing my femininity out even more. It got to a point where I started to wonder if maybe I was gender fluid or bi-gender, combining certain elements of male and female. The first major breakthrough I experienced towards fully realizing that I'm trans was the moment I sat down and thought, okay, so I assume that I'm gender fluid or bi-gender because while I'm really connecting with the feminine elements, I still assume there is some masculinity to me. But if I remove the piece where I'm male because that's the gender I was assigned at birth, is there anything about masculinity that feels worth holding on to? And I couldn't think of anything. And now, about 2 years later, I still can't. The only thing male about me was the fact that it was the gender I was assigned at birth. Otherwise, there was literally no reason for me to not transition to female. The next breakthrough was on my birthday 2 years ago, when talking to my best friend Elle, who could tell without me even really saying anything about it that I was more female than anything else. So, I came out to them as trans, and from that moment, saying it out loud to someone else for the first time really started to become real to me. The last major breakthrough was a few months later when I first really and truly presented as female. I had experimented with presenting female on my own in the past, but I was always really unhappy with how I looked, mostly because I had no idea what I was doing. But this time I had a few friends help me with makeup, clothing, bra and inserts, and getting me a decent wig, since my hair was still pretty short at the time. Once everything was in place, I was honestly floored with how I looked. I always thought of myself as not necessarily ugly, but definitely very plain and average looking. But now, I felt like I could actually look attractive and beautiful and really be me. So from there, I never looked back. I've worked on refining my presentation, received plenty of help and validation from my therapist, and as of 5 months ago now, began the process of hormone replacement therapy, as well as having weekly electrolysis appointments to remove my facial hair. I work at a preschool where I present as female, and other than my other job, where until just yesterday I was still presenting as male, I've pretty much been living my life as female. So, let's get some important details squared away. First of all, it's pretty typical that when someone is undergoing this kind of a transition, a new name is something you can expect from them. And my new name is... Robbie. Yeah, you might notice that that isn't really much of a change. To be honest, I've always been kind of attached to the name Robbie and couldn't really imagine people calling me anything else. Plus, I've always felt that it was a pretty unisex name. I've come across some girls named Robbie in my time. However, in the past, Robbie has been short for Robert, my legal name, and yeah, that's a name I don't plan on hanging on to. I had thought of simply changing my name legally to Robbie, but then someone, and I feel bad that I can't remember who, suggested Robin as a possibility for my new legal name. And I like it. As much as I feel that Robbie is a unisex name, it feels like Robin is a more noticeably feminine, though still obviously unisex name, and feels like a good full name to put down for things. So, what should people call me going forward? Honestly, Robbie is perfectly fine by me. Don't think of it as my dead name, and that I only want people calling me Robin from now on. If you want to start calling me Robin, by all means, feel free, but if you've been calling me Robbie the entire time you've known me, don't feel like you need to stop doing that now or anything. Oh, also there's the matter of my middle name. The one I was born with was Norman. Fun fact for probably the majority that didn't know, that was my middle name, which in turn was my grandfather's name. Obviously, that's not exactly feminine or even unisex, so I'll be changing my middle name to Carolyn, after my grandmother. She meant a lot to me in the time that I knew her, and I've always felt her support and influence, even after she passed away, so I feel obligated to honor her memory however I can. So, another point that I feel is important to address is about my sexuality. Though I'm going through a transition with my gender, my sexuality is remaining exactly as it has been for about as long as I can remember. That is to say, I'm attracted to women pretty exclusively. I've never really found men attractive, and I doubt I ever will. So, yeah, not only am I coming out as trans, I'm also coming out as a lesbian. Though, to be honest, that's not really too much of a change from how I've been living my life. All the same, it was something that made me doubt my femininity when I was younger. Part of the reason it took me so long to realize I'm trans. Like, even knowing lesbians are a thing, for whatever reason, the fact that I like women made me think that I couldn't be one. I was always kind of slow to realize things about myself. So, what does the future hold for me? Well, I'm going to continue to take hormones and undergo electrolysis, and I plan to have my top and bottom surgeries someday. With the release of this video, I'll be living 100% of my time as female going forward. I'm in the process of getting my name legally changed, and I just came out of the one job where I was still presenting male, so yeah, basically, all female all the time. As a last note, I really feel like this goes without saying, and I honestly hope this isn't a necessary point for me to have to make, but if your reaction to this video is to try to talk me out of any of this or tell me how I'm wrong in doing this, honestly, you shouldn't even bother. I've thought long and hard about these decisions over the past 2 years, and this is who I am. I'm typically a fan of open discourse and hearing multiple sides to any point, but this isn't an opinion piece. This is fact, and I'm not really up for debating facts, so it's really a waste of both of our times to try to argue against this. Again, I really hope there isn't anyone among my friends and family who would seek to tell me I'm wrong about this. I've really felt nothing but love and support from everyone I've come out to so far, and even though I know that won't always be the case going forward, I'd like for that to continue as long as possible. That being said, I think I've been pretty thorough in covering everything I need to in this video, but if there's anything that anyone is still confused about, or something you want to ask me or have me clarify, feel free. I'm very open about talking about all this and want to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Don't think with that last part that I'm trying to shout out any and all discourse about this. I just want to avoid people trying to tell me that I'm wrong. That's all. So when I was planning out this video, I thought to myself, oh, I know, I'll put on my makeup while I talk. That'll make for a really nice visual accompaniment. It was only in the process of actually making this video, however, that I realized that I won't be able to talk while putting my lipstick on, and that I need my full concentration to do my eyeliner and mascara, so we're just gonna fast forward to those parts. So, as a TLDR for everyone who didn't want to sit through this whole video, understandable. I'm a trans girl. I'm currently in the process of transitioning. I still go by Robbie, but Robin is also an option now. I'm still attracted to women pretty exclusively, and from now on I'll be living my entire life as female. If you did sit through this entire video, oh my god, thank you so much for listening to me ramble and watch me put my makeup on. Your support means the world to me. I wouldn't be anywhere near as confident as I am with this transition if it wasn't for every single person who supported me along the way. You all mean more to me than you could ever know, and I'm so honored to have each and every one of you in my life. Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough here, so with that, I hope you all have a wonderful day.